Did any other fighting games even come out in 2015 other than Mortal Kombat X? There was like what, Guilty Gear Zerd?
Yeah, I think it's just XRD, but it's Zerd Sign. So
it's pronounced. It is actually pronounced Zerd though. Like that's how you're supposed to pronounce it.
I don't believe that.
Well, I mean, maybe not literally that, but that is approaching how you're supposed to pronounce it anyway. Like you don't just. It's not an acronym. It is not an acronym.
That's gonna be a robot. But yeah, there's Guilty Gear up there, Rise of Incarnates by Bandai Namco, and Rising Thunder, which I believe is a free-to-play one.
No, I think Rise of Incarnates is the free-to-play one, and it's actually closing in like a couple months. So, that's good timing. Apparently it was, like, done by, like, the Soul Calibur people, and I think some guys who worked on Tekken. Must not have been very good if it's already closing, though.
I have no clue. I'll check and see that thing, though.
Mortal Kombat's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it deserves it, right?
It's a really good game, because, like, I appreciate,
And yes, you're right. It's pulled from Steam in October, and the server's going to be shut down on the 15th.
It hasn't even been out for a year, and they're already pulling it, so...
Yeah, they worked on Soul, Tekken, and Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus.
Wow, that sounds like a game. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, yeah, I really like Mortal Kombat because, like, as much as I appreciate games like Tekken and Virtua Fighter, like the ones that are like really tightly balanced and like super cool and competitive, I'd much rather appreciate games like Brawl and well, not Brawl specifically, but Smash Bros and Mortal Kombat, where like it has enough depth to be competitively viable, but it's also fun for like casual players, because like because like when I invite friends over, not that I have any friends, if I had friends and I invited them over and I wanted them to play a fighting game with me, like it's much more likely that I can get them to like play a Mortal Kombat, because like you pop the Mortal Kombat in, and they're like, oh man, I can't wait to play as the dude with the chain that sets people on fire. That guy's cool.
Yeah.
Whereas like
you're not gonna get people coming in like, oh, do you want to play some King of Fighters 13?
Like, it's a lot easier. That's an easier sell than showing them Tekken and being like, well, I guess I'll play like the fat blonde guy. I mean, Tekken isn't the best example because Tekken also has King and whatnot in it, but like Virtua Fighter, ain't none of your friends gonna want to play Virtua Fighter if they're not already fighting game fans.
Right. I finally got the rest of the load here. There are other categories, of course.
Also, hold on, didn't the fighting game category only get like 3 games to begin with, while every other category got like 4 or 5?
No, it got 4 games. Mortal Kombat X, Guilty Gear, Rise of Incarnates, and Rising Thunder.
I was sure the other categories had at least 5.
We can make that 3 technically, because this happened in December and Rise of Incarnates is being shut down, so...
Yeah, that's good.
We got Best Family Game, we gave to Mario Maker.
Which, yeah, that's... I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Mario Maker's alright.
Yeah. Best Sports/Racing Game. I'm glad they just grouped those up now.
Well, I mean, racing is a sport.
So you're admitting NASCAR is a sport now?
NASCAR's not a sport.
It's racing, it's a sport.
It's not racing, goddammit.
It's racing.
It's driving.
You gotta overtake people and be in first place. How is that not racing?
I'll overtake you. I'll wrestle you to the ground and force you to admit that NASCAR is not a sport.
You know me. I'm from the South. We will never. You know the South will rise again, right?
It already did.
Oh man.
Geographically. It's really weird.
Nolans is sinking though.
Oh no. Not New Orleans. What am I gonna do without my rice and fried chicken?
But the best part is that the game that won combined both, and that was Rocket League.
Yeah, I guess Rocket League is a sports game. I don't know. It's difficult because, like, I really feel like the category should be separated into, like, sports, like arcade sports and sports sim. Because, like, putting NBA 2K16 up against Rocket League is not fair. Mostly, for NBA 2K16, of course. I mean, I wish Spike Lee had directed Rocket League, but we can't always get what we want.
Best multiplayer is, of course, given to Splatoon over a bunch of bigger games.
Yeah, I know Call of Duty 3 was in that lineup.
Call of Duty 3, the third one?
Yeah, this... I had that game for the Wii. It was one of the... It was one of the first games I bought for that Wii. I bought, what did I buy on the Wii launch? Not the Wii... Yeah, it was the Wii launch. I bought... Because I got it for Christmas, and I got Call of Duty 3, that Marvel team-up game. God, what was it called?
Marvel vs. Capcom 3, go on.
Yeah, you got it. No, it was, I forget what it was called now. It was called, like, Marvel Alliance 2 or something. It was actually the second game, not the third game.
I have no idea, so...
Yeah, that game was cool, sort of. It was mostly, like... Again, it's a lot like Marvel vs. Capcom, where I'm not really interested in the game itself, but it's like, man, I get to play Luke Cage, and I get to beat up goblins.
Right.
Like actual goblins, not the Green Goblin, like actual goblins.
So it's an RPG, I see.
And then I think I got one other one, but I can't remember what it is. Whatever, it's not important. The Wii sucks.
I had Call of Duty Modern Warfare for the Wii once.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember
it actually played kind of well, honestly.
Also, oh no, our teammate's dead.
Rip.
He got owned.
He played too much Call of Duty on the Wii.
Yeah, he got tuckered out.
I've never played Call of Duty 3. Because I never had an Xbox.
It's not good.
It's the first Treyarch one.
Not the first, I think.
I'm pretty sure it was.
It's...
Because 2 was entirely made by... I think?
Seriously, though, it's not good.
Oh.
Also, I want to issue a correction to something I said earlier. I had mentioned that this game has less ink ribbons than the original version and the director's cut versions. That is still true. However, when I said it, I said that it's because you get 2 instead of 3 ink ribbons. That is not true. I was misremembering a different Resident Evil game that gives you 3 ink ribbons per 3 saves per ink ribbon. This one just reduces the amount of ink ribbons in the game in general. Like it reduces the pickups. Like there's one on this table here that's not in this version of the game. So I was half right. So it still counts.
When are you gonna bring up your extensive knowledge of camera angles?
I don't have an extensive knowledge of camera angles. They just changed them sometimes.
Check out her article on the cutting room floor. Not
Hey,
an
don't
article.
check.
It's not an article, damn it.
Don't check out my article. It's gross. I spent like an entire afternoon doing that, and now I regret it horribly.
Further proving to be a goon. Spending way too much time on something that nobody should.
By that,
Oh God, a
game,
snake!
right? Yeah, this boss is named Yawn.
Because you need to go over Yawn to fight it. Snake's gonna kick your ass. Shoot its face!
Yeah, this snake takes like a few bullets. Shells, whatever.
It's still a bullet, right?
You can dodge it, but it's a lot easier to just face tank the damage and then heal yourself. Oh, I should.
Oh, yeah, you're poisoned. Now you're gonna get rid of that.
Well, hold on. Hold your horses. We haven't even shot the thing yet. Also, you can tell when the boss is over because the music stops.
Oh, okay.
And then it blocks your fucking path while it slowly moves away.
What a douche.
By the way, I'm sorry for my clackety-ass controller. There's not much I can do about it. It's a very clickety controller.
Nobody's gonna mind.
I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna mod it, and I'm gonna put gauze all around the buttons. Is what the snake was guarding. It's another one of those dang-ass emblems that we need.
Is that all?
No, we need one more that I skipped. That I probably shouldn't have, but I didn't think I'd have enough inventory space.
Stupid Chris.
Yeah, he's a moron.
can't pick up.
Unlike me.
You're an LP master, so therefore you're smart.
I mean, I've played games. That makes me more qualified than Chris. I don't think Chris has ever played a game.
He's had like a Game Boy Pocket. He's played Pokemon.
1996.
Yeah.
Chris!
Am I poisoned? Damn it, give me serum.
I'm
The
sure
serum.
The serum must be there.
No, he didn't even
I'll
say
be
the
right
serum.
back.
He just says, "Give me serum." You know, just serum.
Having visions with that serum.
I hope you're keeping track, by the way, of the amount of people we found that are dead. Cause
I'm not.
you should, because we're up to 2
new
now.
character.
Well, it's just not new. She's been. I've seen her in like the first 10 minutes. Anyway, yeah, we get to play as Rebecca. She has a Beretta. That's it. And because I killed pretty much everything in our way between here and the health, there's absolutely no point in equipping the Beretta, but I'm going to do it anyway because it looks. The character models in this game look weird when they don't have a weapon in their hand. You're just kind of flailing around.
Slowly.
You gotta be deliberate about this.
You didn't kill him. Your bloodlust isn't set in properly. Go and murder him.
No.
End his life.
No. You're being weird. Don't be weird.
Hey, there's zombies in the way.
All zombie
You're
lives
the
matter,
one who
dude.
slaughtered people just to get to something.
All zombie lives matter, Rosetta.
Topical, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So
Video
look at
games. Oh, good.
Fuck you. Interrupting my interesting trivia. A lot of the problem with getting trivia about Resident Evil in general is that, like, Resident Evil's never been super popular. Like, it's been popular enough, but no one's wrote a book about, like, the Resident Evil development. So a lot of times, a lot of your information has to come from, like, a bunch of disparate sources and, like, interviews. So, like, for example, it's a widely held belief that Resident Evil is built off of the engine for the Goof Troop game from the SNES. But the problem, despite that being reasonable, the problem is that the only source for that is a Kotaku article where the writer was talking about his friend telling him that because his friend worked at Capcom or something. It's not easily verifiable, so you just kind of have to take it for its word. But it kind of makes sense because there's no Z-axis in this game, really. That's why everything's like, that's why all the backgrounds are just still images, because the characters only move like forward and backwards and left to right, and then when they show that they're like, you know, that they're going into the distance, you can just sort of shrink or expand the model itself. But like all the, that's why you have to, like, I'm pretty sure that's why you have to press like the X button when you climb upstairs, because you can't show a character really climbing up the stairs, even though there's a couple angles in the game where like a character climbs up a small set of stairs, but their legs are always blocked by the guard railing. So I think what's happening is that their legs are expanding or contracting, and like the guardrail hides that, I think. I don't know. Video games are complicated.
You all right?
Yeah.
I'm dead.
What happened?
You were bitten by a poisonous snake. Are you okay?
Poisonous. Ah, yes.
Yeah,
The poisonous snakes.
Chris bit it,
Killing me.
and it gave me.
I think you'll be all right because I gave you a shot. But please be careful.
You saved my life. I owe you one.
I think Chris is supposed to have like a military, like a jarhead cut, but or like, you know, one of those cuts where it's like really short but it's kind of slicked up at the front. But
Right.
because of the resolution and everything, it kind of looks like he's got a pompadour, and it's pretty cool.
He reminds me of, what's his name? Claude, the guy you play as in GTA 3.
Rockabilly, like Chris, would be a really good alternate costume for a Resident Evil game, and I'm sad that they haven't done
man.
that yet. Alright, so we've got another puzzle here. Put these things over the vents. It is very complicated, trust me.
It's a vent.
I'm being sarcastic, but it actually is a little bit complicated, because you can't see from behind the angle, so sometimes you cover this grate, but it doesn't get covered all the way. And then we press this weirdly hexagonal button in the middle of the room.
I thought that was like another vent for a second.
No. And it causes this display case to fall down. And if we go and we check it, hey, look, it's the last crest.
Puzzles.
If you can call them that.
I
I mean, to be fair, I'm making fun of this kind of thing, but like it takes like a good 10-20 seconds to figure it out if you know nothing about the game. It's just that the minute you do, it's like immediately solvable. So now we're gonna move on to we're gonna go outside now and get some fresh air. The game.
We haven't been out. Have we been outside since the beginning of the game?
Nope. The game can be pretty handily summed up into like about 4 acts. There's like the first time you're going through the mansion when you're getting the crests. There's outside. You're doing the stuff outside. Oh, no, 5, I guess. You're going outside, and then you come back into the mansion. Did I not put any of the crests away? I put them all on the thing. Cool. Wait, why am I exiting? I need to put that damn lighter in there. Anyway, yeah, so you start in the mansion, and then you go to the guardhouse, and then you come back into the mansion, and then you go into a cave, and then it's the final act inside of a secret laboratory.
Right.
Well, it's not so secret now that I brought it up, but you know.
Spoilers, God.
Yeah.
And you don't want people posting a thread about spoilers now.
Hey, I said don't talk about games that aren't this one. Ever. Even when we're talking about Resident Evil 3, you still have to talk about this game.
Don't talk about another threads. Just don't.
No, I just said don't bring up specific parts in like other games, cause like there's like some really crazy stuff that happens in these products, and like I don't want people talking about that. But if you want to be like, oh man, the plot to Resident Evil 5 is really stupid, am I right, fellas? With that whole like virus thing with the needles, like you can talk about that if you want. I don't care, but like. The really crazy stuff. Basically, I don't want people to spoil Dead Aim. Please keep any discussion of Dead Aim to yourselves, because man, that thing needs to be seen to be believed.
You brought up crazy scenes in Resident Evil 5, and I'm no one but one.
Let me guess. Does it involve Chris?
No.
Oh no, you're thinking of the other guy.
Thinking of the other guy.
You're thinking of the boat guy.
Thinking of boat guy.
Boat guy.
Boatman, actually.
Okay, because I was thinking of a scene involving Chris and large rocks.
Oh.
Because that scene's pretty crazy. This is a little taste for people. This is just like I'm bringing this up to tease you a little. Like you're thinking like, oh man, what's she talking about with rocks and Chris? Is Chris gonna fuck a rock?
Yeah, Chris.
Chris is gonna fuck Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the latest Resident Evil movie by noted accredited filmmaker Paul Thomas Anderson. I believe that is the correct Paul Anderson. Because there's Paul Thomas Anderson, there's Paul W.S. Anderson, and then I think there's a second Paul Thomas Anderson. There's a lot of Pauls.
There sure is a lot of Pauls.
I'm not a big fan of how overtly Christian Hollywood is. You know, they always say that the media is run by the Jewish, but that's not true. They're all Pauls. These dogs. The main reason I don't like the dogs is mainly that they're like suspiciously hard to kill for how little damage they do. Cause like the dogs don't do a whole lot of damage, but it takes like 5 shotgun shells to kill them. So you end up just avoiding them, because why bother? Creaky ass chair. I love this.
My creaky chair than me chugging my beverage.
I love this. This wolf sound effect. By the way, it's my favorite thing in the game. Not this one. This is water, but
Could have fooled me.
so now we moved the slough so we can get down there across this bridge. This is symbolic of crossing into the second act of the game. If we map this game to the traditional hero's journey, we call this crossing the threshold, which usually happens in the second act of a story after you already killed the first big bad guy. You can read all about it in the new book.
Maybe the first Resident Evil book now. No. There'll certainly be something.
There is already there's like I forget, I think it was 1998 that the book came out. There's already a book about like they got some guy, some manga artist I think, to like write a backstory to Resident Evil. And it's certainly weird. It's certainly a thing. It involves like Chris getting a midnight call because his parents are dead. I guess he gets like a midnight call, and he's trying to drive to where he's supposed to be, but like he gets hit by a dog or something. I don't know. It's weird, but it also contains a developer.